85% of eligible Americans don't get screened for cancer. Most of them aren't avoiding it because they don't care. They're confused, they're scared, or they can't afford it, or they just don't know where to start. And now there's an app that changes all that. And today, I'm going to sit down with Erin Price, founder of Screensaver Life. Erin spent 25 years inside healthcare. Operating rooms, software, AI, companies like Medtronic and Microsoft. She knows how the system works, and she knows where it breaks. Screensaver Life is an app that helps you understand your actual risks. It connects you to low-cost or free screening options and gives you the tools to take control of your health before you're in crisis mode. This conversation hit really close to home for me because a couple weeks ago, I sat at a funeral for a teammate of mine who lost her battle with cancer at 45. She had an 8-year-old daughter, and early detection might have changed all that. Erin's building something that matters, and she's starting it right here in our own community. So before we get into it, this episode is brought to you by the Legacy Media Group. I help establish local business owners with contractors, attorneys, and physicians become the obvious choice in their market. You shouldn't have to be the best kept secret in your community when your reputation says otherwise. And with the right video and content strategy in place, you won't. So if you're tired of your online presence not matching the business you've actually built, let's talk. You can find me at thelegacymediagroup.com. So until then, here's my conversation with Erin. Let's get into it. I've been very excited about sitting down with you for this.
Awesome.
We met, you reached out to me because you saw Dr. Fanning's video.
Yep, I did.
And you reached out and wanted to meet for coffee.
Yep.
And I told you this. I was hesitant.
It's like, who's this crazy girl? Stalker.
Not really that. It was more because we both get messages, right, about meeting for coffee. It's like, okay, I mean, and in fairness, I didn't look into who you were and all this stuff beforehand. So I was like, sure, we'll meet. Like, okay, because you saw the podcast, and okay, that's fine. And I was getting my hair cut literally across the street.
Oh, that's funny.
So I was like, sure, let's just do it then.
Yeah.
Because I'm there.
Yeah.
And then just had a fascinating conversation.
Oh, thanks.
And I absolutely love talking to you. And of course, you love that coffee though, right?
Yes, I do love Sonoy coffee.
Sonoy coffee. I've been there a lot recently. I've had a lot of meetings there, and it's
Leaf and Bean and Noonan, they're like close. They just have two different vibes, but I love it.
Yeah.
I do love Sonoy coffee.
Yeah. Yeah. It was great. But yeah, we had a great conversation, and I couldn't wait to bring you on to talk about what you're doing and the mission that you're serving.
Yep.
And really your purpose, because it's really, I think it's a game changer.
Awesome.
And I'm not in your space.
Yep.
But just what you were telling me, I think that what you're doing is really going to change the game for our health.
Yeah. No, that's good. And I love that. No, our conversation was amazing. I told my husband the same thing. I was like, I just love going and meeting new people, which is so ironic because I really don't like people. But
I'm the same way.
Yeah, but I do. It is fascinating to learn like from other people and like, oh, that's what you do, right? How to connect. And I'm a connector. So just being able to connect the dots. But yes, that was a good conversation, and I'm excited to be here.
So I'm the same way. Like I almost kind of dread like once I commit to something, it's a good idea, so I'll commit.
Right.
I'm like, yeah, let's do that.
Right.
And then it comes the day of, I'm like, why did I do that?
Yep.
And then I dread going, but I'm always glad that I go.
Yep.
So
I feel that.
That's
it's
kind
on our terms. I think it's more, it needs to be on our terms, right?
Yeah, I agree.
Yes. If my husband's like, hey, we're going to go to this thing, and I'm like, I'm not going. Right. But if it's on my terms, it's good.
Yeah. Yeah. There's a lot of things that I'll commit to. Like if friends say, hey, we'll do this. Sure. That sounds great. Let's do it. And then I'm like,
why did I do that?
How do I get out of it?
Yep.
But then I'm always glad that I went.
Yes.
After the fact. It's like going to the gym.
Yes.
Right. You dread going.
Yep.
But you're always glad that you went.
Yep. That's so true.
I love my friends.
Let's just say that. Yes.
I do love my friends. It's just sometimes I commit to things that sound really good at the time.
And then you just want to sit at home on your couch and do nothing.
You really do.
I hear that.
You really do.
I hear that.
Because we're both entrepreneurs, so there's a lot of things we can be doing.
Yes.
Right? Like our day's pretty full.
Mm-hmm.
Plus we have families.
Mm-hmm.
That has to fit in somewhere.
Right.
And so, yeah, it's Extra stuff is different.
It is. And I think you go through seasons that you love the extra stuff and then you want to be at home and then you've got bandwidth for the extra stuff again.
Yep.
So I think I'm kind of in that latter season. I'm starting to have time for those things again.
Yes.
So, yeah.
Yeah, I agree. But yeah, like I was pumped about our conversation, and I actually left and my wife texted me. She was local.
Mm-hmm.
She normally travels, but she was in town that day. And we went and got lunch at Longhorns, and just couldn't stop talking about it. Like it was such a really good conversation. And of course, I'm the guy. And look, please, don't judge me for this, but it was one of those things that I've got to hear things a lot,
right,
to remember it.
Mm-hmm.
But my wife likes to hear every detail of a conversation, and we were there for about 2 hours.
Guilty. Yeah.
What does she do? Well, she does this and this. What does that do? I'm like, well, she told me, and I listened, but it was like a lot of information.
Yep.
And which is another reason why I'm glad we're doing this.
Yes.
Because I will have a video of this.
That's good.
But yeah, it was just like, she asked a lot of questions. And I'm like, well, she's on a podcast. Just watch
the podcast.
Watch the podcast.
Go to our website.
There you go.
Yeah.
There you
go. Yeah.
Yeah. She's always getting on me about asking questions.
It's funny.
And
I'm the same with my husband, so she's not alone.
Yeah, I'm sure.
Yeah.
Guys just don't, we don't.
Attention to detail, not there. I know.
That's why when my son's sick and I have to take him to the doctor and she's not home, I almost have to video it or at least do the voice memo when the doctor comes in, so she gets everything.
Everything.
Right.
And then does she say, well, you didn't ask this?
Oh, it's always, you didn't ask this. But a lot of it is I don't remember what she told me to relay back.
Yes. All right. So it's normal. It's in our marriage too. It's completely normal.
I just figured it was old age and my memory's gone. And okay, that's fair.
It's normal. It's normal.
Fair.
You're not alone.
That's fair. Well, you have a very, I would say, unique history. I don't know if you think it's unique, but getting up to this point, you're in healthcare.
I am.
You've been in healthcare for a long time.
Long time.
But a different part of healthcare.
Yep.
Talk to me about that.
Yeah. So I'll talk just where I started. Out of college, I actually jumped into healthcare, hated science, didn't really want to be in sales, and God had a different plan. So I started as a medical device rep. So I was actually in surgery, helping physicians with their surgery. So teaching them how to use new products and things. And it was fascinating. Stayed in that for about 10 years. And through those 10 years, a lot of what we did was super disruptive and new. I really like the disruptive space. We're challenging the status quo. It's kind of my personality. And started weaving my way into other intersections within healthcare. So I've worked in all spaces other than cardiovascular, really. And so I left the OR and started going into software, kind of seeing the world turning towards the software space, and then navigated my way into AI. So I've not only been in the device side in the operating room, I know how the intake works, I know how surgeries work, I know the follow-up, but now I know how software integrates with hospitals, how that all goes together. And then fast forward to AI, I would say I was in AI before actually AI was coined AI, right? Mm-hmm. And so I learned from some of the best. My PhD scientist actually at my first AI company was from MIT, one of the smartest guys I've ever met, and just generally love to teach and I love to learn. And so learned everything I could, went and landed a job at what is now Microsoft. We were with an incubator within Microsoft that they acquired, and just really navigated my way. So I don't know. It's just unique. I would say that most people you talk to, they're in healthcare, they're a nurse, they're a doctor, or they're a medical device rep and never leave, or they're a software rep and never leave. And
or
I've
pharmaceutical sales.
Or pharmaceuticals, exactly. Yeah. So I've done a little bit of everything. And I think one of the things that makes me unique is I'm so eager to learn, and I get asked the question, well, how do you know how to do that? But I've been part of big companies, so like Medtronic, and Microsoft, but I've also been with a lot of startups, so 5 startups in my 25-year career. And I like the startup space because you get to dream and you get to think and you get to, start everything from a concept on a napkin through fruition. And that's what I love. I'm a big dreamer. And so I think
we could have a whole conversation on that alone.
Yes.
And I think we touched on this because I'm the dreamer of my family.
Yeah.
And my wife actually had to put in her vows she promised not to be a dream killer.
Oh, that's funny. I love
Because she's the realist.
that. Okay. But I'm a realist too.
Are you?
Yes, I have that both. Like, I'm like, it's probably not going to be a great idea. We'll table it, put it like in the parking lot, right? I am.
Yeah.
So now my husband, we just talked about this too. He was like, I need to dream more. Like, you dream about everything. And I do. Because I do believe, like, where there's a will, there's a way. It may not be today, but it's going to happen.
Yeah.
So back to my career. So it just really, God has placed me in very unique situations where I've been able to navigate the healthcare ecosystem. I've learned a lot from the payer side, the provider side. And that is really what led me to where I am, to start screensaver.life. So it was the drive of starting something new, looking at a problem that was there, a massive problem that exists. And then, fast forward, I left Microsoft 2 years ago and stepped out on my own and started consulting with global companies, again, in the startup world. So I work with startups that are looking to commercialize here in the U.S. And through that's really where this screensaver.life, derived from, grew from, originated from. I don't know the right word. But everyone's solving a problem of how do we address or help a patient once they're in the system.
Yeah.
And, part of that 25 years I was in cancer, and it was probably my most favorite job. And when I was working with my executive coach when I left corporate, that was one of the things. She was like, dream about where you were and like what was your most favorite time. And it always went back to the startup, disruptive space, and oncology. And so as I'm working with these startups, again, we're just continuing some great ideas, great technology, but I have a software that helps patients do X. I have a software that detects cancer at X. And I'm like, okay. So I started doing research. I was like, where are we with cancer screening? I knew from being in lung cancer for a long time that the amount of people that actually get screened was relatively low. And so started doing numbers and just looking at things within breast cancer, colon cancer, prostate cancer. And I'm like, we have this massive gap of people getting screened. Why? So that's what led me to screensaver.life, really.
That's fantastic.
So, yeah.
See, I'm with you. Like, I love the startup phase.
Mm-hmm.
I love that first, get it launched.
Yes.
Put the system in place and let it go.
Yes.
I love that part.
Same. Well, and I'm not a politics, like bureaucracy person, like the big company. It honestly wears me out, right? Oh, you've got to do X to get to Y to get to Z, when I could have already gone from X to Z and been done.
Right.
Right. So anyway, you live, you learn, but it's all good. You learn different things from different parts, right? And
Sure.
without the big companies, you wouldn't learn those processes and what's necessary to take that next step, right?
Right.
So, but then startups are messy. You have to have thick skin. I think some of us are crazy a little bit, right? I had a call last week and a guy told me it would never work. And I was like, awesome. Can't wait to show you that it's going to work. And I hope you don't get cancer. No, that was ugly. So.
Well, okay. So for context, this is a cancer app.
This is a cancer app.
So
yes.
You're not just being. Yeah.
No, yeah. And we're helping people. So let's talk about like why a cancer app and let's really lay out what does that look like, right?
Right.
And so today in the US, 85% of eligible Americans do not get screened. So that's the problem we're solving. And a lot of that is not because they don't care, right? It's expensive. People are scared. They don't know where to start. Our healthcare system is complex. I think if you interview any physician or patient, they're going to both answer that it's a mess, right?
Right.
Being that it's so complex, we got together, a team of us. And so I've got a chief medical officer. She's an interventional pulmonologist, world renowned. We call her the queen, Dr. Nina. She's fantastic, but I worked with her 15 years ago, and both of us are very like-minded. We want to help people. And we're looking at, here's the problems, how do we solve them? And so, I've got 2 guys out of Korea that are on our team, and then I've got a, fantastic marketing guy here, but we all have one mission and one goal, and it's to save lives. And how do we protect what God's given us, I think, is a lot of people take our bodies for granted. And there's so many opportunities out there, and most of it is people just don't know. And so the app is really to empower consumers, educate them, provide access, tools. When should you get screened? When should you not get screened? When should you just be proactive? Right. And so there'll be an application you can download on your app and access it, but the web portal will be the same. So the web will essentially emulate or, echo the app.
Yeah.
So that's kind of the overarching view of it.
So let's get into the app. So what all, like if I was to open it up at 46 years old,
Yep.
what all could I access
Sure.
to help prevent?
Yeah. No, great question. So let's talk about guidelines, right?
Okay.
So most cancer screening is managed by a guideline, right? So that guideline is not for Chad or not for Erin. It's broad. It's for 40-year-old male that smokes XYZ, or it's for 35-year-old female, right? So it's very broad. It's not based on where Chad lives, what Chad's background is, where were you raised? Like, did you grow up with smokers in your house? Were you around secondhand smoke? Like, there's so many other things. And so
It's kind of like an insurance exam or like an insurance application for life insurance.
It's so broad.
They just take the stats and that's it.
And that's it. And guidelines are like that, right? And don't quote me on all the guidelines, but for example, lung cancer, you have to be 50 years or older. It's like 50 to 80, and that just changed. It used to be 55 to 75. So 50 to 80, smoke so many cigarettes a day, history of that, et cetera, right? But what we're seeing is that women in their 40s, non-smokers, actually have a 40% increase in getting lung cancer. And that's not to scare you. That's to create you, work in you to be proactive and to educate you on, okay, the guideline says I don't fit in this box, but there's opportunities and ways I can be proactive. So part of the app, you ask, like, what does it do? One will do the generic guidelines, the main risk questions that are within the guidelines. But let's say you don't fit those guidelines. You're at low risk, but you want to be proactive. We'll start asking you other questions like, what's your zip code? Where do you live? Where were you raised? Things of that. Because we can expand into that. And like I said, because like I'm a woman in my 40s, I know that I'm at high risk for lung cancer because of my age and because of the growth in that space. But insurance won't cover me to go get a chest CT. So the app is going to give you resources to get a low cost or no cost chest CT. Our big thing is no insurance, no problem. We don't want insurance to dictate what you can and can't do. There is a 60% movement or growth in consumers managing their health through digital health apps, right? And so we kind of want to ride that wave, but we want to provide tools to get there. How do you manage it through an app? We're not a diagnostic tool. I think that's really important to know. We're giving you tools and education and resources to go get the care and advocate for yourself.
So you're not another Dr. Google.
Not another Dr. Google. And actually, it's interesting you brought that up. So I had a meeting with a guy last week, and he was like, why would I need this? I can just go to Google. And it's actually a travesty because he's not alone. I would say a lot of people do, right? They'll go get their labs and they'll put their labs in and it says their kidney count like might be low. And if you go to Dr. Google, it says you're going into kidney failure when actually you were probably dehydrated, right? And so I love ChatGPT. I use it to augment and help with a lot of things in my current business. But it's not the end all be all, and it doesn't replace human empathy.
No,
right?
and I was going to say that's what I do.
Yeah.
Not for major health related issues, but for my diet or my workout program. I put all of my labs into it. I say I'm following this diet. I eat this. I eat that. I work out like this. Help me fine tune it. That's what I use it for.
100%.
But not diagnosis problem.
Right.
So I use ChatGPT for that.
Yep.
Not Google.
Well, and if you were to put in Google or ChatGPT, what should you be getting screened for at 46 mil? It's going to go by the guidelines out there, right? So you should be getting a colonoscopy. That's one thing.
I got it. Will you schedule that for me? Thanks.
There you go. So I've got a great doctor too I can provide you. So there's those things, but let's say you're having symptoms. Let's say that you've got bloody stool. Let's say that you're having chronic, abdominal pain. That could be anything, appendicitis. It could be gallbladder, but it may not be, right? And you're a year past your due date, actually. And so the app also gives you reminders. We have an ecosystem that connects your family. So, like for us in my personal family, we are the caregivers for my in-laws. And so it would allow me to manage. We're not doing any HIPAA, like getting into Epic or any of those things, but I could say, hey, you're actually past due for your mammography. You haven't had one in 3 years. Or you're past due for your pap smear. You haven't had one. The other thing I want to really focus on is that some people just are scared of doctors. And so the app eliminates that by providing things to give you alternatives.
Mm-hmm.
So at-home screening. A lot of people don't know that's out there, right? Or they've seen a commercial on one or two things, but if you actually look in cervical disease, if you look in prostate, there's more than one thing available. So we give you access to those things. And some people, like I've got a friend actually, she's in her late 40s. She's got insurance, but she's a single mom and she can't afford it.
Yeah.
And so she's putting her health off to take care of her kids. And we want to eliminate that, right? There's so many tools out there and resources out there that actually offer low cost or free resources. So for example, I won't name the hospital, but there's a local hospital that they offer free mammograms. I just had my mammogram a few months ago and I was like, hey, how does one find out about that? She was like, well, they have to call. I was like, oh, sounds productive, right? So Chad, I don't know about you, but you're not picking up the call, like the phone, and saying, hey, hospital A, do you offer free colonoscopies? It's out of sight, out of mind, right? And most people aren't catching any of these until they're symptomatic.
Yeah.
So that's what we're trying to prevent. 1 in 5 deaths in the U.S. is cancer related. Why? Because people aren't getting screened. It's not because we can't save them. And it's not because cancer is like the killer disease. Yes, cancer sucks. But actually, if you find it early stage, the survival rate is in the 90s. And that's our goal.
This is very topical for my life because I just went to a funeral on Friday from a teammate who passed away for cancer. And she was 45.
It's terrible.
8-year-old daughter.
Yeah.
And that was tough to sit through.
Yeah. It's real. Everyone knows someone that has been affected with cancer, by cancer.
Sure.
Or has it, right? And so that's what we really want to educate. And the other interesting part of this is that if you look at other countries, screening is like a status. So if you've gotten screened, you're like of the higher echelon, right? And we don't look at it here like that in the U.S. Matter of fact, we were sitting in the coffee shop in Noonan the other day, and a gentleman overheard our conversation, and he was like, hey, I can't help but hear what you guys are talking about. Just curious, like, why get screened? And so we went through the details of why. He was like, I'm in my 40s, I'm healthy, not doing it. But that's such a myth. And such a bad mindset is that if you look at cancer statistically, most cancer does not present itself until it's late stage, which is why screening is there, right? So like lung cancer, most people aren't presenting until they're coughing up blood or they have like upper shoulder pain or other things, chronic cough, hoarseness. And so by that time, it's usually too late. And the great thing is there's so many technologies to help with these cancers early, not just screening, but let's say you get lung cancer and it's a small nodule on your lung. There's an outpatient procedure that you can get to take that nodule, sample it, resect it, whatever, that's going to save your life. Don't have to do chemo, don't have to do radiation. Not always, but sometimes, right? So those are the other things we're going to offer on the app. I'm in healthcare, so I know intuitively like different things that are out there. You can Google and ask questions, but again, it doesn't provide you, Dr. So-and-so at Piedmont Atlanta offers this procedure. You've got to really do some deep diving, right? Or you have to know someone. Or you're in that situation, you don't have time to look because you're in panic mode. Yeah. Right? So you're just going to go to whoever your primary care told you to go to or your friend told you to go to. And so that's the other part of the app is we're going to offer those resources all in the palm of your hand.
You're making the whole process frictionless when somebody doesn't need the friction.
Yes, 100%. And so the question we get a lot, Chad, is like, okay, what if I get cancer? Then what? What does the app do? And so today in version 1, the app doesn't do anything. It may give you questions to go ask your provider or resources to say, I'm looking for this procedure or this type or this physician. As we grow and our roadmap advances, one of the things we're going to bring is I'm working with a company I have to leave unnamed, but they actually have a back end that will help you navigate. So you're a cancer patient, now what? You have lung cancer, now what? You have breast cancer, now what? Right? So, and I just actually got reached out from another guy today who also has an API for that. So I'll talk to a couple, but our hope is to have that whole continuum of care, right? And then one thing we haven't talked about is like direct primary care. I think that's important because we're in this massive movement of, I really hate my insurance. Spend way more than I use. And I'm an example of that. My husband and I, we dropped insurance this year because I've been keeping a spreadsheet for the last 2 years. We're a family of 5. And the amount I'm paying out in copays and just monthly premiums was more than I actually spend. And so there's this massive movement. I don't have the statistics off the top of my head, but from primary cares moving into what's known as DPC. I think you had a physician on here a couple of weeks ago talking about this, but it's a concierge type medicine or membership minded. But what's great about it is that you pay one fee that covers your sick visits, your well visits, your labs, all the other things. There might be some extra costs here and there, but if you compare it to the cost of insurance, it's way less. So we're carrying a catastrophic plan. I think it costs us $70 a month. So how do I find those doctors? I can go Google it, great. But I also want to be connected with doctors that actually want to be part of this movement and be helpful, right? So within the app, we're also going to connect you to providers, whether it be cash pay imaging centers, whether it be at-home screening, whether it be direct primary care physicians, because we believe in that movement. We think that medicine should move there and go back to the days, I always call it the little house on the prairie days, right? Where doctors spent time with you. They were intentional. They weren't worried about the data they had to put into Epic, the data they have to put into Cerner. So there's a lot about it, and we're trying to bridge the gap to those pieces, but really be a resource and a tool, but also a companion. Everything on the app is led by a virtual navigator. So she's empathetic, she's kind. And in the hospital today, if you get cancer, guess who helps you navigate that process? A navigator, right? Orthopedic practices, they have the same thing, a nurse navigator. So we've got a virtual nurse that'll help guide you.
That's awesome. One thing, I want to get into who you have on your team.
Yep.
But one thing I want to circle back on real quick is HIPAA.
Yep.
Because you mentioned that earlier. And it's probably in the weeds, but I'm curious about it. So when it comes to HIPAA, and it's an app, so there's data.
Yep.
How is that protected?
Yep. So my CTO actually is out of South Korea. He's the CEO of Hygen Healthcare, which is a massive IT company. So he's over all of our security process, privacies, all of those things. So currently, we don't share data. Will there be a day? Probably, because we do believe that the data we're collecting, like your zip code, cancers found in those areas, will help in drug discovery and other things. Research, right. But also like helping drug companies target appropriately. And we won't get into the pharma stuff today, but there's a lot of good in pharma along with some of the bad, right? But I think if data is used correctly and responsibly, it's good. And so that's probably like a 3 to 5 year plan. It's not a today. You have consents when you sign on the app. We protect everything.
Yeah.
So, like you would on a standard app.
I figured. I just wanted to make
that's
sure
a good
that was
question.
covered in case somebody out or watching had that same question. So you mentioned your CTO.
Yep.
Who else do you have on your team? Because you got a rock star team.
I do, yeah. So like I said, James, he's out of South Korea. My mentor and chairman of my board is another gentleman out of South Korea. Fantastic human being. He's launched and exited from multiple companies. He's got a consulting company now where he distributes a lot of new technologies from Korea into the U.S. He and I met 3 or 4 years ago when I was at Microsoft, actually. And it's kind of a unique story. When I met him, his English was horrible. He had a translator on the call, and I was like, oh, I cannot work with this guy. Like, this is so exhausting. And so a 30-minute call actually was like an hour and a half because everything we said had to be translated and then come back. But he flew to Atlanta, and we just started talking, and I was like, he's so incredibly smart. I need him on my team. I didn't know at that time what that looked like. And we've built this amazing friendship. And so I would say he keeps me like, going the right way. He's got so much experience and knowledge. He's launched so many companies, and he's just got age, which brings experience, right? And I don't overlook that. And he's just such a genuine person. So Infinite Help, it's a huge imaging company he built in Korea and then launched and went global. So that's kind of his biggest claim to fame. But again, just a good dude. And then David Rosenberg is my VP of marketing. And I met him on LinkedIn, actually. He reached out to me too. He saw that we're both in consulting, was like, hey, just saw we should maybe like collaborate. And long story short, we met at Sonoya Coffee Shop. Yeah.
There you go.
And so they're having their 10-year anniversary this Sunday night. You should come. We can celebrate meeting there.
There you go.
Anyway, so yeah, we met and just started talking like to see where we could work and collaborate together. And so I came to him and was like, hey, I've got this idea. And then getting to know him, like not only is he also, wiser, I say all my team's older than me, but he's launched 70 products. And one I think everyone knows is Zyrtec. So the guy's a incredible marketer, very mission driven, and just, I don't know, I just feel totally blessed to like have him on my team as well.
Yeah.
So I have not launched 70 products, but he has. So that's good. And he is like a marketing genius. He's also a research guy. And, what he does specific in marketing is perceptual mapping and feasibility studies. And so we did a feasibility study on screensaver.life. And if we get the funding that we need, or when we get the funding that we need, it's like a 93% success rate. So, and we're not looking to like everybody be on the app, right? We need 25,000 users the first year. We're looking to get 40 the next year and then, grow exponentially. But so that's my marketing guy. My chief medical officer, I mentioned briefly. Her last name is, I can't pronounce. Everybody just calls her Dr. Nina. She's from Morocco. Would love to have her on your show, actually. I think just her sharing her story of how she had to overcome cultural barriers to become a doctor. I think she was at like 3 or 4 medical schools before she could actually get her MD.
Wow.
Because of her ethnicity and where she was from and all the cultural barriers. It's an insane story. But she's incredible. We met, like I said, like 10, 15 years ago, and she was at Albert Einstein, and I saw her in the room, and her energy was just so contagious. And I was like, I don't know how, but one day we're going to work together. And here we are. And then my fractional CFO is actually from the Dominican. And I did global on purpose, right? I wanted diversity on our team, but I also wanted people from different walks of life because that's what this is about.
Mm-hmm.
And so he's from Dominican, lives in the U.S. now, but he also is a very faith-driven person. He works for an education company now as a financial analyst, and this was his next step. And so he wanted to be a part of something bigger. And I love his energy. Yeah. I'm not a numbers person. So as I was interviewing like 15 CFOs, no offense to CFOs out there, they're dull and boring. And I needed somebody that brought a little bit something to the table, right? And so he brings that. He's fun. He's got a lot of energy. He's been in that analyst space for a long time. He's got a little bit of AI and a little bit of startup in his background. So I needed somebody that was young and hungry. And he's that guy. So yeah, that's like the core team. And then I've got who will be my director of sales is actually a local person as well. So I didn't mention I grew up in Fayette County, moved to Coweta about 15 years ago. We're in Sonoy now. And she actually is a longtime friend of mine. She worked for me at Microsoft, and she's a pharmaceutical rep. And so what she brings to the table is she knows a lot of physicians because we want to empower physicians with these tools, right? Yeah. Because a lot of the challenges physicians have, specifically primary care, is that they're so over inundated with paperwork and patient influx that they can't remember guidelines or keep up with guidelines. And so we want to give them a tool to give their patients as well. So this isn't just about, hey, Chad, here's the app, download it. It's to empower them to keep their patients in their system, right? To allow them to own their health, to come back to them. So there's a lot of moving pieces, we believe, but she's fantastic as well. So she's been in healthcare and sales for over 20 years. So that's kind of the core team.
What was your guiding principles on putting the team together? Like what were the characteristics you were looking for to make them a fit for you?
Right. Great question. The first thing is they have to be aligned with the mission, right? I think we can all go through life and checking boxes. And one of the reasons I left corporate was because I didn't feel like I was fulfilling my purpose. But it was also a lot about like doing the right thing. And so many companies get out of the way of doing the right thing. It's all about this. And while that's great, we all need it to, money. We all need it to survive. I am a true believer, like you do the right thing, that will follow. Right. And so I wanted people, their faith may look different than mine. I'm very blessed that all of us have a very similar, like-minded faith journey. But it's really about we want to create a good life. And, our tagline is screen early, live fully. We want you to be able to live fully. And that's really, I think, number one, is that everybody's bought into the mission, that it's not about us, it's about everyone else. And then I think the second thing that really is, I wanted somebody that complimented me and had strengths in areas I didn't. I think as a leader, you can't be everything to everyone and you can't know it all. And, I've been pretty blessed through my career. I mean, most of my teams follow me from company to company. I mean, at Microsoft, the team I built there, most of them had worked for me on and off over 15 years, which I think says a lot, right? And so a lot of it was, what do I need help in? I'm not a numbers person, right? So I needed to seek someone that's what they love to do. And I don't care. Just tell me what I got to do and bring it to me. But I could trust them, right? Because that's a big part of your business. I think marketing, I've got a ton of background in marketing, but the perceptual and feasibility and launching big, massive products, I've always been part of the marketing team, not launching it, right? So David brings that. Rebecca brings to the table her passion and desire to serve people. She is a strategic thinker like I am, but she also is a massive connector. And she's a great storyteller, which you're going to need in this role. You've got to have empathy in this role, leading the sales team and just talking to consumers, right? And then, Sean and James, I know enough to be dangerous because I was in software for a long time. And so I wanted somebody that I knew was, again, for the people, right? Data, it's a great question you asked. And a lot of people, they want to monetize that right up front. I don't.
Yeah.
I want to use that for research later for the better good, right? So all these people just bring a different dynamic of skill sets that I don't have or complement what I do have.
It's filling the gaps.
Yeah.
I think a lot of leaders and a lot of business owners forget that because they feel the need, not the position.
Right.
And I think that there's a difference there.
Yeah, I agree. Well, and I work with a lot of great startups, and I will tell you, I think another thing that lacks is IQ versus EQ. You can be the smartest person in the room and you can't run a business, right? You can have the highest level degree in a room, but you can't run a business. And I grew up on a farm. And this would be my other thing to people is don't let your dreams die because of your background or your past, right? You can
100%.
overcome those things. And I was not the smartest kid in class. My parents are not college graduates, but I had a desire and a dream to go do more. Right. And I've been very blessed in my career. And I think this is just the next step to what God has planned for me.
Have you always felt that you were always meant for more? Yeah. Me too.
Yeah, I do. And I still don't think this is the end all be all. I think this is the step to the next. Right. So, and we want to be global. There's a massive need for this across the world, not just in the U.S.
Yeah. Cancer doesn't discriminate on where you live.
No, 100%.
Or your age, or your gender.
Yep.
It's
your zip code, D, all of the above, I say, right?
Yeah.
So, yeah. And I think that's a big part of what we want to do is just reach whoever we can, whenever we can, however we can. We're going to be doing a ton of grassroots, a ton. Getting in the community, meeting with people, joining the breast cancer watch, joining the lung cancer awareness things, And a lot of that too, if I asked you what's the lung cancer ribbon, do you have a clue? No clue. So it's ivory. And so part of what we want to do too is bring awareness to those things. But if I asked you what the breast cancer one,
It's pink.
right?
It's October.
Yeah. So,
Because of football.
Because of football, because of football, maybe. But it is pink. And so that's the other piece we want to bring awareness to is, one, I don't believe cancer should have just a month.
Right.
It's a year-round thing, right? But if you see a teal ribbon, that means cervical. Or if you see a blue one, that means colon. So those are the other things we want to bring in the app is education. And that lacks. And so, and it's access for everyone. I think that's another big one. Like you shouldn't have access because you're of the higher demographics or like pay scale. Everyone should have access. And of that 85 million in the US that are 85% of people not getting screened, 60% of them are underinsured or uninsured. It's not fair, right?
No.
So they're probably not getting the screening because it's not being paid for. And so we want to bring that access to them, those tools to them.
So have you worked out your pricing yet?
We do. We have pricing. Don't quote me, but since I don't have it in front of me, but the app is going to be like $58 a year.
58 a year?
$58 a year for one person. And then you can put a family up to 5, again, I think for like $119. So you can have 5 members for $119. So like I would have myself, my husband, my parents, and then his parents.
So you get all of that
Mm-hmm.
for that much a year?
Yep.
Wow.
So I think, you can't put a dollar amount on life.
You can't.
So, but I think also like just having access to industry, what's out there, but access to providers that actually want to provide cost-effective stuff is a big deal.
I agree. And you can't put a price on life, but, and the reason I asked that was because you said that you want everybody to have access to it.
Mm-hmm.
Well, everybody already has a phone.
Mm-hmm.
And if you can't afford to go to see a doctor, you might can afford
Right.
$58 a month or
a year. Yeah.
A year. Like that's nothing.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's fantastic.
Yeah. Well, and you brought up another good point. So that guy that met us in the coffee shop, he was like, I can't afford a $500 a test. And I paused for a minute because that $500 is a lot.
Sure.
It is. But there are alternatives out there for cheaper. This was a colon test. But I also want to challenge people to think, is the $500 investment up front reasonable versus getting cancer at stage 3 or 4? And we're going to have a lot of cost analysis, so you can see that on the app as well.
And that goes in the education.
Yes, because stage 1 or 2, I don't have numbers in front of me, but stage 1 or 2 obviously is much cheaper than catching cancer at stage 3 or 4. Mm-hmm. So employers will benefit from this as well. That's a big market for us. So the Chick-fil-A's, any of the self-insureds, Home Depot, things like that, because they're spending all this money in healthcare, right, and insurance. If a patient or one of their employees gets sick, that's time out of work, right? Then they've got higher insurance premiums. So it's all these things. But if you promoted screening, which there's a lot of advocacy groups we're going to partner with, promoted screening so that people actually could get off work to go do it. You gave them this app to manage it, to know when they're due. Think of all the cost savings you're doing, right? It lowers your insurance cost. Lowers your overhead costs because now, Chad, instead of you missing 6 months to a year because you got diagnosed with cancer, I let you leave for an hour to go get a screening, right? And, there was nothing, or, it was stage 1. We can go do a surgery that you're going to be out 2 days. So there's so many things that I don't think people think through and know the process.
An idea, I don't know if they do this or not, but the last time I gave blood, I guess it was First Responders Day because they just kept coming like they had a big contest on which fire, EMS, police, which one gave the most blood. And if companies did that, like they just had one day set up and they had somebody come in
and do all the screening
like on site.
Yep.
I'm sure insurance company would love that.
Yeah. No, I'm sure. And these businesses would, because it's less time away. Right? They're more productive. But you brought up a good point, because some people are like, well, there's screening tools out there. Why wouldn't I just go with, X company? And there are. And I believe all those people will be our clients, right? I can name like 5 or 6 screening companies right now, but we believe you should have a choice, right? And everything you see is not good. So because we have doctors on staff, on staff, and then we'll have an Ask the Expert piece in the app too, I'll get into. But we're going to look at all the tests out there, because if you Google like colonoscopy test or, whatever, you're going to get a list. You're not a doctor. You have no idea the sensitivity and specificity, meaning how good is it? That's the easy part of it, right? But we're going to screen that for the consumer. So you'll know, hey, there's 20 out there. Here's the top 10 we've partnered with, because they actually are good. Because there are some, and there were some out there that I didn't even know about. And some of them are just garbage. They are. But you might go take that blood test because you don't know. And it says, oh, you have an 80% chance of it being cancer, but the false positive rate's, 4 and 5.
Right.
So those are the things too. Because we're backed by science, we're going to have a lot of that figured out. So you're not going to just be able, I use the Amazon analogy. You can go on Amazon and you're looking up, I don't know, a vacuum cleaner, and you are reading reviews. So you're going through the reviews, like we're going to have all that work done. So we're not going to offer every vacuum cleaner. We're going to offer the top 3, right? So we're not going to offer every blood test. We're going to offer the top. So I think that's another piece of the app that we shouldn't discredit. And I think it's a big piece.
So my next question, we can skip it if you want to.
Yeah.
I know the answer to this, but I would, if you want to answer it, we can get it out there. And maybe this is just in my consumption world right now.
Mm-hmm.
It's pretty safe to say that your app and the suggestions that you guys offer to people are legit.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
It's not paid for by.
Nope.
You're not bought by some company. They're not paying you to push them their way.
Right.
Like you're not sponsored by a big pharma or all of.
Right.
Do you know what I'm saying? Like it's.
So yeah, let's clarify that a little bit. We will have sponsored companies on there. So, but they're our choice. Like I know that Intuitive Surgical offers a minimally invasive procedure for diagnostic of lung lesions, right? They have a robot that can go in the periphery. You can biopsy and get an early diagnosis. They'll pay to advertise on our app. So it's going to be somewhat screened, right? Based on our knowledge, based on industry experts, because I've got a whole advisory board of physicians. So I would say it's not like paid by, AstraZeneca or anything like that. We're going to be very intentional on what's on the app.
And I guess I bring that up because it's like, that's different.
Right.
In my opinion.
Okay.
Than pushing like how doctors push certain meds.
Right. I see where you're going.
You know what I'm saying? It's like,
yes,
you might not need that medication.
Right.
But they get a kickback for it.
Yes.
And that's a big topic today.
It is.
Right.
Yeah.
And so that's why I bring that up, because it's
a good call out.
Wanted to clarify that.
Yeah. Yeah. No, it's a good call out. So no, we're going to partner with people who also are intentional about their patients.
Yeah. That was my follow-up was how do you screen that? And it's all about mission and vision.
Yep. Well, and we have an intake form, right? I mean, we formed an advisory board for a reason. I've got pulmonologists on there, gynecologists on there, colorectals. And so we want their good sound advice, not who they're being paid by, right? And there is a lot of information. I can go Google, 20 companies that do X. But again, it gets down to the science. Mm-hmm. And I don't care who has what. Like, I don't care the company name. I want what's best for the patient. And so that's how we're going to partner with these guys. Like, we have another partner, they have for a full body scan, MRI. And so they look at all kinds of things. And so they've got one in Atlanta, and we've gone through their work. We've seen what they do. We've seen the output. They've got a doctor to guide you. It's very well thought out. But again, it's a cash pay. So you don't need a doctor's order to go get a full body MRI. You can go cash pay and get this here. And then they've got a doctor to go through it with you. There are places that you can go and get those things, and then there's no guidance beyond. Like, they won't be our partner, right? So everything is intentional.
Yeah. So when this takes off, and it's as successful as we both believe it's going to be, especially you. I can't wait for you to launch it and get it out there, because this is going to be great.
Thanks.
5 years from now,
Yep.
when this hits big, how is the world different?
So that 1 in 5 statistic, I think, changes. 1 in 5 deaths is cancer related. I think it's maybe none, right? Or it's so low that we've changed those statistics. I think that percentage of patients that are eligible to get screened changes, right? It's reduced. And, to me, one life saved is worth all the work we've done, right? I mean, to me, that's how I value this and what success looks like to me. And I think we're going to empower people to advocate for themselves. But I do think those statistics change. Instead of 1 in 5 patients dies, maybe it's 1 in 1,000, right? Instead of 85% of those eligible getting screened, maybe it's only 20%. We want to reduce those numbers, and we want to provide access. So I think to me, that's what it looks like. We're lowering those statistics. We're saving lives.
You're not curing cancer.
Nope.
But you're giving people the opportunity to beat it.
Yep.
And
we're debunking myths, right? I think a lot of it is driven by just what you don't know. And I'm going to give a plug for my podcast. We've got
Please.
a podcast coming out February 15th, I believe, called If Only I Had Known. And it's Dr. Nina and I, and we have people on every once in a while, just talking about all of the myths that are out there, challenging the current insurance system and all the things you believe to be true, or because you read it or saw it on social media. We're talking through those things. It's an educational podcast, a little entertaining. We're special, so I think it's a little bit entertaining. At least my husband says so. So that'll be coming out February 15th. I would encourage people to go watch it.
Yeah.
And listen to it. The first one's just audible. The second month will be video as well. But that's important, right? It's just empowering yourself with education.
So this will drop the 1st of February. So look forward to the 15th.
Awesome.
Absolutely.
Amazing.
I'm excited for you. I think I'm excited for you. I'm excited for us.
Yeah.
Because you're giving the world something special and what it needs
appreciate
right now. And knowledge is power.
It is.
And I think that having access to knowledge empowers us to take control of our life.
Right. The right knowledge. Right.
The right knowledge. That was very deep for this podcast.
Yeah.
I don't know where that came from, but that was very deep for this podcast. Usually we're not very deep here. But yeah, I mean, it really is.
Yeah.
We can control things when we know things.
Right.
I'm excited for you. I think this is needed. I think as a business, I think it's phenomenal. It's a great model. But I think for society and for the people and for our healthcare, this is very special.
Well, awesome. I appreciate that. I mean, that's our goal.
Yeah.
That's our goal.
Because you're doing it, because just our brief conversations, I can tell that it took you a long time when we met for coffee to talk about the revenue and what you can make from it. It was all about saving lives. Yep. Because that's the most important part.
Right.
That's the mission.
That is. No, 100%.
And the fact that this is starting here in Coweta County is very, very cool.
I hope so. We want to bring it local first, right? And that's a question we get a lot, Chad, is where's it going to be first? Where's it launching? And we're going to launch in our backyard first. We're going to have partners across the U.S., and you may be in New York and it may say coming soon because we don't have a partner there yet. And that's okay, because we want to be intentional about where we're going. Our target market is everyone, but more specifically, who makes the decisions in most households? The women, right? So we have a specific target for women in their 40s. The app's available for 18 and over. There's not much screening needed for under that age. So yeah, no, it's all about saving lives. And I'm excited to be in our, local, because I've worked with so many companies out of Minneapolis, Boulder, Colorado, Boston. And there's just something about being home and helping your community first. So I'm excited for that.
I am too.
Yeah.
I can't wait.
Thanks.
So that ties into the last question perfectly.
Okay.
What do you want people to say about your contribution to this community 10 years from now?
What I want them to say is that this is a hometown girl that had a dream. She followed God's calling, and it happened, right? So this isn't about me. At the end of the day, this is following God's calling, my purpose. And, I told you when I left corporate, I knew that I wasn't fulfilling my purpose. And this is really about everyone else. Like, we were all created on purpose for a purpose. And that's really what I want people to remember. And, I said it earlier, where there's a will, a way. Don't let somebody stomp on your dreams. Go after it.
Yeah.
Because you're going to get a lot of haters, a lot of naysayers. I had one last week, and I was just like, awesome. Good luck to you, right? So, but I think that's what I want people to remember, is that where there's a will, there's a way. And she really followed her faith, and, God will and can.
Absolutely. So my personal mission statement, and I'm really leaning into that this year.
Mm-hmm.
Call it my New Year's resolution, whatever. But
Okay.
my personal mission statement that I come up with, it really clicked several years ago,
Mm-hmm.
was to leave a legacy of impact.
Yep.
And you're doing that with this. I really believe that this is going to be your legacy.
I love that.
And the impact that it's going to make is going to be amazing.
I hope so. We'll have a big celebration.
Let's do it.
Let's do it.
Let's do it. Well, where else can they find you? You mentioned the podcast.
Yep. Mention the podcast. If Only I'd Known. That'll be on all your social media handles. And then our website is www.screensaver.life, or you can go to www.screensaverhealth.com. So we're starting in cancer. I think that's important to know, but we will be expanding into other chronic diseases, COPD, emphysema, cardiovascular diseases. So that's why we have the play on words, Screensaver Health, because that's your health, but we want to save your life.
Yeah.
Right. So it's all, built into one. So that's where you can find us. We have a Facebook page. We have an Instagram page. We have a TikTok page, but we have a massive strategy around TikTok.
Nice.
There's a ton of influencers on TikTok really challenging our current, infrastructure as it stands today. And so they'll be working with us. So that'll be exciting.
That is exciting.
So yeah, I heard you dance. So maybe I'll have you on the little TikTok doing a little dance.
You heard wrong. Somebody lied to your face. I can do a lot of things, but listen.
Okay, well, we'll have to find that one thing then.
I feel God blessed me with some talents, but he completely skipped that one.
Yeah, me too. We're in the same boat.
Yeah. No.
It's awesome.
Thank you for that. Guys, go, I can't stress this enough. If my word means anything, I really want you to check her out. She is a very special person. I've had the privilege to get to know her more over the past few weeks. And this is something special. And so get in while you can.
Awesome. And the app should be, our MVP should be done in about 3 weeks, and we'll do some piloting. Our goal is to launch it April 1st.
Perfect.
So that's the goal. Hopefully you'll be able to download it by then. We are in fundraising phase right now. So anybody with a little extra money, we're in fundraising. So
this is
donations accepted.
I share this with business owners.
Awesome.
So, this is hopefully we can get you some.
Yeah, that'd be amazing.
And whatever I can do.
Awesome. No, I appreciate
whatever I can do.
No, this has been a blessing. So
Good.
I appreciate it.
Good.
Yeah.
Well, check her out.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for doing this. I really appreciate it. You're awesome.
That's great.